Shalom, everybody. This is our sixth lesson in the Baal HaSulam's Matan Torah with commentary by Rabbi Avraham Mordechai Gottlieb, I'll be referring to as the Rabbi Shlito. In our last class, we spoke about the question of why Israel was chosen to receive the Torah. And even so, why were they chosen? Because there's only one choice. It says that the Creator went to all the other nations and they said no. So we're going to get into it. The sixth section begins. We're on page 66 of Giving. And I'd highly recommend looking at the description. There's some amazing resources, books that are for free download, PDF, links to book purchases if you want to get your own copy of Giving, let alone other amazing foundational English works about the school of Ashlag thought, and the playlist, the rest of the Matan Torah classes. The header says, to understand why the Torah was given to Israel, we need to understand the nature and purpose of the Torah, which is also the purpose of creation. And second, the purpose of creation is to make God's divinity known to a being other than God. This is accomplished when what is created cleaves to God. The Baal HaSulam begins. However, we can understand all this once we have sufficient grasp of the nature of the Torah, its mitzvot, and the desired goal in the fulfillment of the mitzvot, to the degree that our sages taught, this goal being the aim of all of the great creation laid out before us. The Rabbi Shlito says on the spot, that is, when we understand what is the central purpose of learning Torah and doing mitzvot, what are we supposed to gain from Torah and mitzvot, then we will understand everything. For the nature evoked by the Torah and its mitzvot is the purpose for which the Creator created all this great creation. It's interesting when we learn things like this, we see different ideas being the purpose of creation. There's a lot of different ways to describe the paradigm of the purpose. In this case, it's the nature evoked itself by the Torah. That nature is the second nature of giving and loving, which comes through the refinement of the Torah, through the merit that is the refinement itself of the Torah. And by being loving and giving through the refinement, by definition, we become similar to the Creator. To become similar is to have similarity of form. To have similarity of form is to be unified in characteristic. To be unified is to have the vekus. To have the vekus is the greatest pleasure. To have the greatest pleasure is fulfilling the purpose of creation of Ratzona Lativ Lenivrav, His desire to give purpose to creation, because we're receiving that goodness at that point in order to give to Him. And it goes in a circle. And a lot of the learning in Pnimis Torah, the inner dimensions of Torah, and Kabbalah have this dynamic. It's a dance. It's beautiful. You see the interconnection between everything. But here we're talking about the purpose of the Torah being this nature evoked by it. The Baal HaSulam continues. The first axiom is that no one acts without purpose, and there is no exception to this apart from the lowliest of the human race, or babies. And if that is indeed the case, then no one can doubt that the Creator, whose majesty cannot be fathomed, would perform any action, small or big, without purpose. Everything has a purpose. The leaf that falls on the ground, the dog barking in the street, stubbing your toenail, to the greatest of heights, the greatest of pleasures that one can imagine. Every action is with purpose. Rabbi Shlito says in regards to Baal HaSulam's comment of the lowliest human race are babies not being able to act with purpose. Baal HaSulam is referring to people who are not sane, who act without any particular purpose. And also babies and small children may act only because of certain urges and feelings, not due to any purpose, any consciousness, I would say. I want to take this notion of people that are not sane personally People might think that this is referring to people of mental disability, let's say, like autism or Down syndrome. But by tradition, we believe that these are actually amazingly great souls. These are very high souls that came back down into a body, not because that soul itself needed correction, but it came down in order to correct others. I mean, imagine a family of 14 children, happy and healthy, and all of a sudden they have a 15th child that has severe Down syndrome. That child is causing so much, hopefully, character refinement and progression for the entire family because everyone's working together to take care of that child. As a simple example of how such individuals are really angels in a way. They're operating by a system and they're here to help because everything is for the good. But I think the Baal HaSulam is referring to people that are of a different caliber of literal insanity, a different type of illness, a different type of consciousness that is unable to consciously decide and make the free choice to do one thing or another. Unfortunate reality. Those people should be blessed. The Baal HaSulam continues. Question. On the one hand, we see that the Torah bequeaths a system and framework of cold rules that are forced upon us without any relation to feeling. On the other hand, God wants the heart, as said in Masechet Sanhedrin 106b, the Talmud. That is, he wants us to feel. Actually, there is no contradiction. For the Torah wants us to limit our feelings of desire to receive, on the one hand. And on the other hand, it wants us, by way of the 613 mitzvot, to slowly open up a divine system of feelings, which include urges and desires to give selflessly. So the Torah wants us to arrive at feelings, but not feelings that derive from the impure material of the desire to receive, but rather feelings that derive from the lofty desire to give. Our sages taught us that the world was created only for the fulfillment of the Torah and the mitzvot. The explanation of the matter, as clarified by our early sages, is that the intention of the Creator from the very beginning of creation was to make known his divinity to another. So again, we go back to this dance. The purpose of creation is making his divinity known. If we knew such divinity and had an actual relationship with it, it'd be the greatest pleasure, which was fulfilling the purpose of giving us pleasure, which can only be done through Torah and mitzvot, so on and so forth. The Rabbi Shlito says on this paragraph, the Baal HaSulam, according to this, so long as we are not aware of God's divinity, we have not fulfilled our purpose. For each of us must get to a state of divine inspiration by way of connection and dialogue with the Creator, directly, face to face. This is saying that we are all to merit and receive the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses our teacher, who was the greatest prophet of all time, of speaking to the Creator face to face. The fact that we're alive, the fact that we're here on this earth means that we have the potential to reach this state. We wouldn't be here otherwise. The Rabbi Shlito continues, when we sit with friends, we have no doubt of their existence, for our five senses and our intellect witness and declare that the friends are here with us. However, regarding the Creator, the situation is different, since the Creator is hidden even from our feelings, and certainly he has no bodily form, nor any relation at all to any physical concepts. All this is done intentionally for the benefit of the created beings, so that they will have a choice to believe in his existence. Nonetheless, the goal of the Creator is as above, that this hiddenness should not remain, but rather the created beings should know him and feel him. Wow. So until then, we must make an effort to appreciate the hiddenness. It says the hiddenness is for our good. It gives us bechira, it gives us free will. The hiddenness is actually a blessing. Even the hiddenness in our inner work, when we have times of darkness, where we see the truth about ourselves and our ego and our selfishness, and it's very bitter. It's dark, and we might not feel the sweetness and the tastes of Torah and mitzvot. And we're not as inspired. We don't feel as good doing it. It might even feel rote. But that's a blessing. It's all a blessing. But that in particular is an amazing opportunity to employ our emunah, to employ our faith. If it wasn't for the hiddenness, we wouldn't be able to say, I believe this is for the best. Everything I'm feeling or not feeling is for the best. All my lackings that are coming into fruition due to my feeling of hiddenness is for my progression. So the Rabbi Shlito says, in Nugget of Wisdom here from Inner Work, which is a free PDF download in the description. The hiddenness will not go away until we realize that the most valuable thing in life are believing rather than knowing, and giving rather than receiving. The hiddenness is there in the meantime so that we can employ our belief, employ our emunah, and slowly but surely as we grow in our faith and our emunah, in the greatness of the Creator, and put up the importance of the yoke of heaven being the system of refinement that is the Torah and mitzvot, and see it for what it is, being the most important thing that we could be involved in. Then that hiddenness is slowly chipped away, and we reach the desired goal of actually knowing and feeling the Creator. This can also be described through the situation when the Creator first revealed himself directly to Moshe Rabbeinu. It said that Moshe hid his face. And then it said, through the merit of him hiding his face, meaning Hashem's light was directly revealed, and he himself chose the hiddenness. He said, it's too much. I'm going to receive this egoistically. This light, wow, feeling and seeing God is too good. I can't do it for his sake. I can't do it with pure intention. I'd rather not see. And it was because of that he merited to see. In Kabbalah, this is described as a masach. It's a screen. You have an opportunity for spiritual pleasure, or any pleasure, which can be denoted still as spiritual. For example, you want another piece of cake. That's potentially light, that's pleasure of chewing and eating and swallowing and enjoying the piece of cake. And you're saying, no, I don't need the extra piece of cake. So you're putting a masach, a screen. You're deflecting it back. And where are you deflecting it to? Back to the Creator. The Creator receives that. He says, wow, good job. You have discipline. You overcame it. You gave me nachat ruach as a result. It says that the Creator is proud from such an action of us making these masachim on our, as the Baal says, limiting our feelings of desire to receive and rather desiring to give. In essence, this is delayed gratification. It's understanding that, no, I can't experience this, but I'll hide it, I'll deflect it, and it'll all come back. I have a munah that I will experience that same pleasure and infinitely more in the time to come, when the time is right, when the Creator decides that it should be so. Also regarding this notion, another beautiful quote. Rabbi Shlito says, the Baal HaSulam writes that lack itself is the completeness. Without lack, there is no vessel to receive the supernal light. Every lack is part of the perfection. a foundational principle in Kabbalah. Ein or bli kli. There is no light without a vessel. They are intimately and ultimately interrelated. And lack and hiddenness is that vessel to receive the revelation, to receive that light. So it's two halves of one whole. It's actually part of the perfection. The lack itself is good. It's a blessing. It's an amazing opportunity. As a friend and teacher of mine, Reb Nachum says, instead of good luck, it's a good lack. We should be happy when we see our lackings, because we can't change things that we can't see. If the Creator gives us the merit of seeing something within our consciousness about what we can fix within our internal being, that is a blessing. It's a salvation. And we can work. The Rabbi Shlito continues. God's goal in creating the world was to make known his divinity to another. That is, that his creatures will sense the existence of divinity without any doubt, just as they sense all the physical reality around them. We should sense the hand of God in every single happening, whether in our private lives or in our societal relationships. Throughout our lives, we should be cleaving to the Creator in our thoughts and feelings until we arrive at Noah walked with God. That is, he walked with God in every moment, in every element of his life, and formed a real connection and dialogue with the Creator. Noah's communication with God was as real as the communication between two people. In contrast, walking with God and having him in your mind at all times. The Rabbi Shlito, quoting the Rebbe Zatzal, Rabbi Baruch Shalom Halevi Ashlag, he says that the Rebbe said, being the Rebbe Zatzal, quote, the secret is God. We don't hear God, we don't see God, we don't feel God. Yet we say every day in our prayers that God's glory fills the entire world. The world is filled with God, but it is a secret. So on one hand, we have to walk with God, or at least reach the state of walking with God. At the same time, He's absolutely and utterly hidden, but is behind the curtain with everything. So when we see hiddenness, when we don't see God in something, we should have confidence and faith. We should have emunah that behind that veil, He's right there. He's behind everything. And just like we spoke about in the third class, the power of consciousness, the power of thought, and attaching our thought to God. And thought begets action, so we can have our good actions that slowly but surely refine us. So the Rebbe Zatzal also says that the work can be very simple, and that all we have to do is remember God, just to think about Him. And the deep idea is that our thoughts are not our thoughts. Our feelings are not our feelings, so to speak. We, us, the I, the individual, is a composite of desire. That's our absolute root. We are the desire to receive, and we're trying to become and mix it with the desire to give. And that is the soul in essence, because the soul is a branch that wants to connect to its root, which is the Creator. The Creator's desire is only giving, and the soul is put into the body in a state of only receiving. So we're to come back to the root. So we're desire, but we are soul. And we have been deposited into a body to do the work. So to remember God, easier said than done. But hopefully, slowly but surely, we can train ourselves. Because really, it's a skill to get there. Another quote from the Rabbi Shlito regarding this idea with thoughts. The Baal HaSulam said, quote, our thoughts are an aspect of the temple. The Shekhinah, divine presence, can dwell there. We have an inner temple that we're refining. We have an inner temple that we're fixing. We're building the blocks every day with every action. Every minor blessing, every minor mitzvah is infinitely valuable. even if we don't have feeling, even if there's nothing to it. The Baal HaSulam says it's still an infinite connection with the Creator. That takes faith to feel that that's the case, even if we don't tangibly feel it. And so the Rabbi Shlito again clarifies, the main work is to focus our thoughts on God. The rest comes naturally. If our thoughts are on Him, then we will hopefully act with thought, speech, and action in accordance to what His desire is for us. We'll finish off this section. Rabbi Shlito's comment, God wanted to make known His divinity to His creatures, and only for this purpose created all that exists in the world. All the creation must arrive at this stage, each according to his or her level, as the future is described, quote, "For all will know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them." From Jeremiah or Yirmiyahu 31:33. And the whole land will be filled with the knowledge of God. And certainly this has many levels, each person according to his or her abilities in work and self-development. Just as we noted in the last class that the Creator chose Israel, but He went to all other nations first. Because all the other nations have a spark of Israel within them. That's all humanity is, in essence, Israel. And we can all reach this exalted state of being one with God, being one with each other. Okay. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be learning with you. And till next time, all the best.